everybody. This is Matty Pariah, and that's my boy Fess. And welcome to Scotch Rocks. Today we got Jesse Perez, also known as OG100.
Your favorite show. Your favorite show. Your favorite show.
Pour me up a scotch, throw it on the rocks. Skip the first two shelves, reach up to the top. Give me 3 fingers of the best that you got. Gone 21 deep in a hoggy on the block. Go on now, pour it up, pour it up, pour it up, yeah, pour it up. Take a little sip, then we do it like this. Show everybody that's what's up.
That's right, we got Jesse Perez out of Billings, Montana, the Magic City, my hometown, Fess's current town. You're not going to believe all the stuff we're going to talk about today. We're going to find out all about Jesse, figure out what goes on in that boy's mind, talk about some of the artists, talk about what he thinks about today's hip-hop up there in the Magic City. We're going to find out if he thinks raccoons are bisexual. We don't know what we're going to talk about. All we know for sure is we're going to have a damn good time. But most importantly, make some memories. Hey everybody, this is Matty Pariah. Welcome to Scotch Rocks. That's my boy over there, Fess. And today, we've got my boy up in the Magic City in Billings, Montana, Jesse Perez. He is the CEO of Street Sweeper Records and the movement OG Mafia. We're going to interview him today and get to know him, bring some music to you. How you doing, Jesse?
Doing good, doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing good, bro. Give us some info on you, where you're from originally and where you grew up and all that, would you?
So originally, I'm in Billings right now. Born and raised in Billings, Montana. I grew up on the south side of town, over across the tracks, over by the townhouses, about like right across the street from the townhouses. So yeah, I'm still where I'm from. You know what I mean?
Born and raised.
Yep.
Never moved anywhere in your life, huh?
Just to Deer Lodge in Shelby for a couple years, you know.
Okay.
Little state vacation, paid vacation.
Right on. Did you know people in Shelby, family in Shelby, or?
Yeah, because I was in prison, so I knew quite a few people
very
there.
good.
You know what I mean?
I got you, man.
I lived in Phoenix for a little while when I was younger. I got family down there and stuff, you know, so I lived out there and came back here, you know.
Sweltering Phoenix. I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah. I used to. Hey, the funny thing about that, I was going to tell you, I lived in Phoenix and so I was young. I think I had to have been about 15, 16 when I was out there, and we didn't have a swamp cooler or nothing in the apartments we were living in. It was me and one of my homeboys that actually lives here too. So we didn't know what to do. We couldn't afford to get a air conditioner, and we needed like a fridge and some other stuff. So we rented a fridge and a deep freezer from Rent-A-Center, right? And so I literally slept in that deep freezer just to stay warm or cold, to stay out of the warm, actually. But yeah,
really?
Phoenix is crazy. I probably could have got sick from that Freon shit. You know what I mean? But
innovative. I like it.
Yeah.
If you're under the age of 10, don't ever do that, by the way.
Yeah, if you're at any age, you probably shouldn't do that realistically. You got to survive, though, you know what I mean?
So I wanted to kind of ask you what life was like before you found music, and that time where you just kind of knew to change your life, music was going to be the way out for you. There was prison, like you mentioned, and stuff. What was the moment that you said, man, I got to change it up, and music is going to be my way out?
All right. So, you know, kind of growing up, music was one thing I didn't realize was a big part of my life. It was just, you know, it was something that you listen to, you get to know some artists. And, you know, I grew up listening to, Temptations, oldies, old, rock type of stuff. Rap came in a little bit later with one of my, family members, one of my cousins or whatever. So I didn't really see it as anything serious. I never took it serious. We used to do a little walking down the street freestyle when we were bored, but obviously it wasn't great. But, the funny part about music to me is that it's always been a part of my life. Like I said, I've always been hooking up car stereos, listening to music, all that type of stuff. Well, I ended up getting in trouble for, robbing the casino. That's not anything private. That's all, it's in the paper and all that stuff from way back then. So I had gotten out, I got bonded out, and as a joke, I was saying when we left the jail, I said, well, I should be a rapper since I went to jail, you know, because you see that in movies all the time. So I'm like, hey, I should be a rapper since I went to jail. And somebody had mentioned, like, are you serious? You know, have you ever rapped before? And I kind of had the conversation, like, you know, a little bit of this and that, but never really wrote anything. Tried to write poems, you know, uh, things like that. So um, just it was literally I was out of jail for not too long, um, and everything kind of came together. You know, there was just people that were there that kind of were like, hey, you know, you should try this. You should see if you're good at it. You know, people were just kind of backing me up, and you know, it's kind of all put on my shoulders. And I figured, you know, I might as well try it. You know, see what it's like. So that's how that's you know, growing up the way I did. You know, surviving every day, really not having nothing. You know, being broke, being poor, not having shit, and you know, and I didn't even realize I had music because when you're in that, you know, growing up that way in that environment, you're so focused on trying to eat that you don't realize there's these things that are put there for you. But it's you know, it's everything falls together when it's supposed to. So, yeah, I mean, it was realistically, and being honest, music to me, the first day I ever brought it up like that was a joke. You know, we laughed about it, but it ended up I was the only one that kind of was laughing about it, and everybody else was like, "Hey, you should try it, see what it comes out like," you know. And yeah, so
Right.
that's how I got into music, and at the point when there's a few people, and this is what I kind of try to tell a lot of other artists and a lot of people. One main thing is when I got done. I mean, so I had nowhere to record. I didn't, you know, back then, Maddie, it was especially here in Montana, there was nowhere to record. There was nothing, you know. And I hadn't met you. I didn't know you. I didn't really know anybody. And the person I did know was Superman. That's who I knew. And somebody had mentioned, why don't you see if you could record over there? So yeah, I called him. We you know, got down to business. I've always been about my business when it came to that. I didn't tell him, oh, can we do it cheaper? When he told me your price, I said, let's do it. And he'll attest to this. I wrote my first from start to finish. I wrote my whole first CD. I've never pressed an album, but the first CD I ever came out with was in less than 7 days. I wrote it. I got a ride out to Crow Agency every day from Billings, just to record these songs. And you know, we went through this whole process, and it was funny because I get out there and he says, "So what's the hook?" And I was like, I got the same question. What the fuck is a hook? You know, like I had no idea. You know, and he's asking me how many bars is your verses, how many this, and I'm like, I said, I don't know, man. Just let's just run through it and see what happens. You know, and so you know, we kind of went that route, and he kind of, you know, he gave me a few pointers on how to do things, and so you know, I know a lot of times at that point though, so I don't know what it was, something about being there and kind of telling my story and getting myself out of my own life to I mean, it was almost like stepping out of my own body and watching myself through a different perspective every time I was, you know, doing these songs. And that's at the point when I knew I love music, you know. I mean, it was love to make music, love to be an artist. That's when I realized that, and it was so I couldn't quit thinking about it. You know, it was almost like meeting the love of your life. You know, it was like I couldn't stop thinking about it all day and night. Like that's all I wanted to do is I wanted to write. I wanted to hear beats. I wanted to record. I wanted to do all these things. And in the back of my head this whole time, I'm like, man, this is fucked up because I'm doing all this and I wish I would have learned this before because I'm about to go to prison, you know? So that was already
Yeah.
set, you know, for me. I already set myself up in that situation, but I knew I love music. So at that point, that's when I love music is when I ever first was able to actually record something and hear it back for the first time. And I think like any other artist, man, when I first heard me on my own shit, I was like, I
Tough.
felt like a punk for real. Like I was like, who's this guy? Like you
Tough.
hate your voice, you know, you're like, why do I
Yeah, that's
sound like
real.
that? Why this? And you know, all these type of things, but there was still something there that was like, just keep doing it, you know? So, um, and so what I was saying earlier is what I preach a lot is whenever somebody gets into doing any type of music, I think the best way to go about releasing your stuff or anything like that is show it to somebody you're uncomfortable showing it to. Because if you're gonna show it to somebody that is a yes man, that's gonna tell you, oh, that's awesome, that's dope, that sounds what you know, they're gonna tell you what you want to hear to not hurt your feelings. So my cousin Tony, actually, he's one of the most critical people I know, and I get done with my CD And I go to his house, you know, and I'm like, I know he's the one person, if I take it in and he says this is trash, I'm gonna
Sure.
fucking quit, you know, I'm done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I dropped it off, you
Everybody.
know,
Yeah.
and I was gonna stay there with him, but I made up an excuse, you know. I'm like, hey, I gotta do this, listen to my fucking album real quick, you know, or CD, tell me what you think. I came back and he was literally like, this sounds professional. This sounds like some real, you know, this is crazy. Like, this is you. Like, he didn't believe it. And I mean, that gave me the motivation to continue doing it because it was like the one person I know that would tell me the truth, told me the truth, you know, and so like
Yeah.
it wasn't like a game plan for my life. It was just something that I fell in love with.
You know, if you got with Soup, who is one of my favorites of all times. I mean, he
Yeah,
was one of the first producers out there, and he's done so great for himself. But I mean, to have him as the first guy to record you and mentor you, and you get to see the process with Soup, it really is no wonder why you are so good at what you do now. I mean, he's one of the innovators, and I remember there used to be a little club in town called the Rum Jungle. Do you remember that spot at all? It used to
no,
be the old Desperados. Well,
okay,
they had contracted us to hire the entertainment, and I'm like, okay, cool. And we had got a hold of this band called Resurrection, and I
mm,
had no idea who they were. People had talked about them, and this and that. This is the first time I ever met Soup, and from there, I just became a fan. He was so well put together. He was organized. You could tell he understood music, but more importantly, he was such a professional. And there was nothing that he couldn't do. You could tell when he talked to you, it was like venom. You know, you just kind of fell into whatever he was selling, and he's so good. So you couldn't have been luckier there, bro. You know, as far
yeah,
as like where you're getting started. I mean, that dude's I mean, he has really blown up over the last 10 years, but I mean, he's just so authentic and honest in what he does, and I think that's what sells it. But that, yeah, you couldn't have been luckier there. So do you think you took a lot of what you do now from him watching the process then?
You know, the thing was is so when I first went in, you know, I kind of asked, like I said, you know, I didn't know bars, hooks, nothing like that. I just, you know, was gonna go put my voice on a beat, and I needed somebody to record it, you know. And he, like I said, he told me the 16 bars, you know, 8 bars for the hook, the whole intro, the all that type of stuff, and the breakdown of it, kind of like just a quick rundown of like, you know, that's why in a beat it changes here and changes here and changes here. So I didn't know none of that. You know, and I sat and watched him, you know, and it was a thing of like seeing him do the things he could do. And there's a song on my first CD where I wanted some real live DJ scratching, and I knew. And see, I met Chris. I met Superman when he was just a DJ. Um, you know, he was DJing. He was handing out his mixtape, his Superman mixtapes and stuff, and they were just other songs of other songs that he was mixing together. And he's like, "Yeah, I could do that." So, you know, watching him work in that aspect was really cool, and especially at that time and era. You know, back then,
Yeah,
of everything's analog. You know, I mean, it wasn't,
for real.
you know, we weren't recording on computers. We didn't have that type of stuff. You know, do I have to do the whole thing at once, or do I, you know, because I, you know, you watch the videos on TV, like, do I punch in and out? And he's like, well, the best way to get it so you don't lose anything that you're doing, your feelings or anything in that verse, is you want to record that whole verse through without stopping. So till this day, I still do it that way, you know. And there's other artists I know, they, you know, punch in 4 bars, 2 bars, you know, here and there, and then there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But just the way, that's what I learned from him, and it just worked for me, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
it was
Obviously
great to
worked.
learn. Yeah, and it was great to learn from you know, to be around him and know him personally like that, you know, because you know, seeing what he does, where he's at now. I
Oh,
mean,
he's just amazing. I can't imagine what
yeah,
it would have been like to have him as a mentor. Plus, he's just, you know, hands down one of the best artists I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. I got
yeah,
here comes a great question for you, and
okay,
this is one that I was kind of dancing around a little bit. You and I we started hitting about the same time. You know, I would guess that in the Magic City, you know, we were kind of pretty quiet, and then all of a sudden, I think both our groups or what we were doing was starting to make some noise. Do you think that there hate between us, or was it just the people that were around us that we were recording? Because I remember feeling no spite for you whatsoever. And people would come and tell me that, oh, these guys hate you. And I'm like, well, that's okay. I mean, people are going to do that in this game. That's the way it works. It's a little, usually it's on opposite sides of the country. But I was thinking to myself, I feel nothing, I don't want any ill will on these folks, but it felt like there to be some sort of active beef there. And my golden rule of the studio has always been I don't waste tape on hate. That's my golden rule. I don't care how much beef there is. You handle that in the parking lot, and you don't do it on tape. It's a waste of music. So, what's your stat there? Did you dislike me?
I couldn't dislike you because I didn't know you. I was like, I'd like to work with, in my head, it was like, I'd like to work with these guys. And next thing I know, I think the same thing as what you were doing is all of a sudden I was getting told everybody was hating on me.
Mm.
Um, as far as it went between me and you, like I said, I never had met you. So I've always been one of the type of people. If I don't know you, how can I hate you?
Yeah,
You
for
know.
real. Yeah.
And I never heard that you had ever said anything about me, so there was never nothing there as far as that went. Um, Everybody else, I think it was just kind of everybody else around. I think what it was is maybe some people in my circle at that time seeing what you and your circle was doing, and I think it was vice versa. And so I think it became a competition. And when you do competition in rap, there becomes a lot of egos and pride involved. And I think that's where all that came from because all I was doing every day was, I mean, going to work, trying to get my song on 1019. That's what I was trying to
For
do. I
real.
was trying to get
Yeah.
everything done right. And as far as it goes, like in my studio, I think that's the difference between mine and yours is I've always been so like everybody that I heard that was talking shit about me, I would never see in person. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna put this out there for everybody else to hear because some people are like, oh, that's childish. You put it out like that, this and that. But for me, it's a different mindset because for me, it's like, okay, if I can't see you, I can't tell you what I feel personally in person, and I don't want this to get construed along the way from him to her to whatever. So I'm
Yeah.
like, if I say it where I can never change my words when you see me, and I can't be like, I never said that. Yes, I did say that, and I'm gonna put it here. So now I'll put it out there for you to hear for whoever it was. And if you want to come see me about it, we can handle it that way. Just the same as you said, we can handle it in, like alley, backyard, wherever it
Yeah,
may
man,
be.
for real.
And I've always been just that type. I think I like to push buttons, especially when I feel like somebody's coming at me sideways. I'm gonna push the buttons on that aspect to be like, okay, so instead of going out here behind everybody, behind the person's back and putting it out there and trying to say the stuff, I'm going to put it front and center to let everybody know where I stand on the situation. And now it's up to that person to come and see me.
I can
You know,
respect that, bro. And I do understand that side of it too. If that's the way you get, because that's the beauty of shit talkers, right? They never actually come to you. You hear it from fucking 10 other people.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
and my golden rule was really simple. We are focused on making music, right? I mean, I never, one way or another, I would have been happy to do shows with whoever or do whatever because to me, we were all behind the eight ball trying to put Billings on the map.
yeah, yeah,
Nobody gave a shit about Montana rappers, and to me, it was more important not to get into beef with local cats like ourselves because as a collective, we could have done bigger and better things. Yeah, we started out with the 406 Mob, and then a couple of guys moved on and did New Breed, like Lane Tendeschi and Oso and stuff, and love them dudes. And, it's just life kind of just keeps revolving. And then, like I said, Fess and Dustin came in. Tim Chamberlain came in. We had a brief project called the Honey Bear Click there.
yep, yep,
But then the stereotypicals came in, and really that was about the time where all of that kind of went away, and I felt like no matter what happened, we were going to be okay. But at one point in time, it did feel like people were trying to energize this beef, and to me, it just never happened. I guess it's neither here and there because, like you said, we had never even met, but. I was
yeah.
just curious how you felt, if you drug into that with those guys or anybody that you were hanging with. Me, I did not. I was looking forward to someday, sitting down and hitting something.
And I tell this to everybody I meet that ever, anything about music, and if your name gets brought up, you were the one person that I know that was not in my circle that showed me respect no matter what. And so I've been asked to, do a couple interviews here and there, and I never do them. But I got a lot of respect for you just off of that, and meeting you and seeing the type of person you are, because you never threw any shade my way. You never hated on me, and that to me goes a long way. That shows me what type of man you are, and I can respect that, a lot. You know what I mean? And so it was like, even though there was people in your circle or your roster, whatever, that didn't like me or whatever it was, you never got involved in that sense. And so there was never no tension between me and you. And it might have seemed like it because of the other people around us.
Yeah.
But as far as it went, I mean,
Yeah.
anybody, you can go back in my catalog of music, and anybody that I didn't like, their name is out there.
Yeah. And I do know that because I've listened to you since day one, buddy.
Yeah. And so, because you were the one, me and Oso kind of didn't see eye to eye because of two other individuals. One was on my label, one was on yours. They kind of went, at each other, or was, somebody that you knew. And so me and him kind of went back and forth on some stuff. And that's when we actually ended up meeting at your house. And you squashed that whole beef between me and him, because that, I know Oso, and I know he's about his shit, and I'm about mine, and that could have got really, really ugly had it not been.
Yeah, that's for real. And that's what I didn't want. You get, and that's a lot of that is the youth and really the pressure of the game. People don't understand. Everybody's hungry at that stage, and trying to do something bigger than themselves. And when that stuff starts getting in the way, it has to get squashed, especially between two giants like yourselves. I mean, that's impressive to me that you both were really starting to hit at the same time. And I hated the fact that there could be a problem there. We don't have, nobody has time to bury their buddies when there's so much music to be made.
You've been around a while. What would you say the scene's like now versus what it used to be like? Is it a lot of the same, like a lot of shit talkers still, or do you see like a little bit more of a solid product being put together out there?
What I seen when back then, I think we had a big missed opportunity back then, because there was a lot of great talent that was all split up between what we were talking about earlier. The people wanted to hate, the people wanted the division between us, and I think had we all clicked up together and moved as a unit, even kept our own, had our own labels, whatever it may be, our own groups, and clicked together and pushed this whole unit, and just moved it, I think we could have made some really big moves. And that's the one thing I talk to about a lot of people. I think that, I don't listen to a lot of music nowadays. I mean, some of it here and there. Not that I don't like it. I just now, it's funny, is because I'm like sitting there when I listen to it, I'm like, man, I'll listen to something like it's garbage. And then I'm like, man, I'm turning old. You know what I mean? Because you get to the point where you get so old where you can't accept the change, So every time M drops an album, I'm like, yes, it's refreshing. But it's like, I started listening to some of the new stuff, and especially with the guys around here, I see a lot more division now than I did back then.
Really?
Like I said, with the egos and everything like that, there's a lot of great music, there's a lot of great artists, but because of the MySpace and SoundCloud and all the things that back then, when anybody had issues, it wasn't posted all over. We would go handle it how, if we had to handle it. And if it was supposed to be squashed, it was squashed. If nowadays it is all shit talking, no doing anything about it, cops getting called, and then there's a few bad things that have happened, through music, but I feel like there's always been talent here, and there always will be. It's just I don't know what it's going to take. I tried bringing people together. Maddie tried bringing people together. In this day and age, I mean, I've even dissed. I got dissed by a group from here. Few years back or whatever, and I dissed them back. And it was fun. For me, it was all fun, and we I don't know if you remember that, Maddie, but we basically broke the whole internet in Billings, where no other artist was getting any type of, and I mean, it was what's their names, Poetic Intelligence. They were a group
Yeah.
back then, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they did a diss track on me. I did one back, and all of a sudden, every other artist in this town was null and void. Nobody cared about it because they were so involved in our whole little beef. So behind the scenes, and I'll put this out there just so everybody knows this is the truth. Is you know, yeah, I had cops show up at my house, detectives saying that they thought they were in fear of their life, thinking I was going to kill them. You know, it was whatever, but I ended up getting a hold of basically most of them and saying, hey, why don't we take this and turn it into something bigger? Let's play on this and blow it up because it's starting to, you know, gain a lot of traction. And we're having there was one guy on there, basically the one that ran it, who hated me so much for that he would not budge on doing it. So, you know, me, as I'm a type of person where I have a hard time showing my pride, but I did at that point because I seen an opportunity.
Sure.
And you know, so that opportunity passed. I like, you know, some of the music coming out of here now. I don't like the fact that how would you say, everybody's trying to be somebody else.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a
I
tough
think
thing to get past. You're right.
I think Montana deserves to be on the map, but I think Montana deserves to be on the map with its own sound. From here on out, yeah, I'm working on my stuff slowly because the route that I want to go, this will actually be my first real album. I mean, believe it or not, you know, I've
Yeah,
never
I
released
do.
an album.
I know because I've been pissed at you for fucking years for not ever releasing anything.
Yeah,
And fucking, I mean, you do. You release it to a point, but you never give us all of it. You know what I mean? You show us what you got, but not one time. And I just remember I slay on you in our personal messages because I fucking,
yeah,
you know, I fucking love you, bro, and your music's great. And I used to be so pissed at you for not, you know, you've got this. I know you're sitting on some work, homie. You know, and it's
oh,
like fucking damn it, dude. This guy never releases shit, and then you'll tease us, you know, with something that we can't have in the car unless we freaking have something awesome on Wi-Fi. You know, we got Wi-Fi at McDonald's, and we can put you over Bluetooth or something. But I mean, Jesus, man, you've worked so hard on so much shit, and it just pisses me the fuck off. You know, and I deserve.
yeah,
I could say that. I can say that because
yeah.
you know, that
I,
is bullshit.
you definitely can, and you know, I actually, it's funny. I have a lot of people that are mad at me for not having an album out. And I think for me, it was fun for me to begin with. It was a blast. That's what it was. It was fun. It was my drug. It took me away from everything else. And then it became a business, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
And then that's not an issue, but when I'm the one running the business, then it became an issue because now instead of doing what I love to do, I'm trying to figure out what I can do that everyone else is gonna like.
So, can you tell me what frame of mind you were in when you wrote "Got That Work"? Because that's where we're going next. What were you doing, and what were you doing there? Was this just something that's like, man, I kind of want to get beat up by Jake Frickle, or how would that go?
So so the song was we were sitting down in the studio, and if my mind serves me right, which I'm getting older, so it usually doesn't, but I think me and Jake were down there, and or something, and me and Van Gogh were down there, and I was all the new stuff was coming out, you know, and I was like, man, you know, we release all these songs that have, you know, we put so much time and effort into these lyrics, and you know, like metaphors. Like I like doing a lot of metaphors in my music, like you know, some technical metaphors. Like I like doing them where if you listen, like a lot of times people that listen to it, they go back and they like, oh, it means like three different things. So we're sitting down there, and I said, you know what, man? I was like, this is fucking bullshit. I was like, I could do a song just like they can, and it'll blow up. And I was like, that shit will be easy. I could do that shit really quick. And Jake was like, well, fucking do it then. You know, Van Gogh was like, well, fucking do it then. I'm like, all right, I'll fucking do it then. You know, we're like arguing about doing it. So I was like, okay, so you know, I went and I did the song, and then I got a hold of this guy that does videos, and we were supposed to drive out to Helena to do the video. Well, he ends up coming here, and if you so in the video, it's funny because now I've never really talked about this that often, only to people like in you know, that I've been talking to personally. But I'm wearing Skechers slip-on shoes. I had just woke up, and the guy was like, "Hey, I'm in town. Let's do this video." I'm like, "Fuck." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like, "We got to run to Walmart and get some powdered sugar so we can make these little bags of dope or whatever."
I was gonna ask you about that, but yeah, cool. I love
Yeah,
that.
and so I still got one. I kept one just for as a nostalgic thing, to something to have, whatever. But
For real.
yeah. So we were like, we got to run to Walmart. We got to, and I'm telling this guy, I'm like, yeah, we're ready. We've been ready. I wasn't ready for shit. So we just kind of, it says directed by him, but anybody that was there will tell you I basically directed this whole shit. I'm like, okay, we're going here. This is how I want to do it. I want to pull it in this way. So it was more of
the back of your brain, his camera.
It was supposed to be a parody. The song was, and I
actually love the song, dude. It's great.
Well, see, and I fucking hated the song, right? I hated it. I didn't even want to show anybody the video. So when you watch the video, you'll see the shirt I'm wearing. Like I said, I just woke up. I'm wearing my fucking Skechers slip-ons. I'm wearing this little tiny ass chain. So there's a part in the video where I said something about my chain, and I swing the chain, and it's like this little. The chain is like a quarter the size of this fucking hoodie thing, and so like. It's so funny as I'm watching it because I'm like I still got fucking crusty eyes and shit. And I called a couple, 2 friends. I'm like, hey, can you guys make it? They're like, yeah, we'll be right there. So we put it out, and the next morning, we put the video out. I don't even give a fuck about it. I'm done with it. I'm like, fucking whatever. So Jake calls me the next day, early in the morning. He's like, dude, you seen that video hit like I think it was like 20-something thousand views or some shit. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
so I get on there. Yeah, so it just built up, and I like the song now. I really do. But at the time, it was like...
Well, I know this about you, Jesse. You're not an auto-tune cat. So that was what surprised me the most about it.
Yeah, so now... now you know that it was because of all the other things that were coming out. And I was like, I can show you guys I can do this too. So, there was that. And, we put the song out. I do like the song now. But... You guys know as artists as well, like some of the work that you hate the most always ends up sometimes being your best shit that everybody loves.
That's exactly it. As a matter of fact, I think I've hated everything we've ever done.
So I had to. So the funny part was I was on probation at the time when this song came out, right? And I had to call my probation officer and I said, hey, look, and I had a cool PO, man. He's awesome, man. Like he's dope. But he was like, I called him. I said, look, I'm putting a song out called "Got That Work," and it's about drugs and sound dope in this. And I said, I do not got that work. Like you can go. I'm sure you're going to hear about it, but I told him that, and then so I even put it on Facebook. I was like, PSA, I do not. Contrary to popular belief in the song that I did or some shit, I was like, I do not got that work. But the fact is I also preach keeping it real, like with your music, as far as doing, spitting real shit. So I can say like that is something that is a part of my life from the past, So it's not something that I'm doing now, but I can always reminisce on the past and shit like that and things like that. But I mean, to the extent of what it is, it's so yeah, it was a parody and shit like that. And now I actually do like the song, and a lot of people love the song. So that's why I chose that for this.
We're gonna go right into it, man, so everybody can hear it.
I got birds in the trap, writing words in the swisher, you could call that a rap. Yeah. Hey, fuck boys talk that, like I'm not that. Till I drop racks, riding with the top back. Money, I'm about that. Diamonds on the wrist, chain swinging, yeah, I caught that. Moving all the shipments off the dock black. Call to the feds and they be saying that we love lost that. Roll up on these snitches with the semi-auto cock back. Gone for a minute, but they know that I'll be right back. I got that work, yeah. I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, If you need it, come and see me. I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, If you need it, come and see me, homie. Get a clerk with that merch, keep you hot like Captain Kirk. Say you need it, then I got it, and I keep it hella turned. Rolling in the Chevy, and the block is getting burnt. When I holler at these bitches, and I get them out their skirts like, hey, back at it. Let me take a crack at it. Feeling like a crack addict. Dropping all this weight, cause this White Castle's a bad habit. God damn it, shipments keep coming like, hey, and these digits keep on coming like, hey, and these bitches keep on coming like, hey. Haters try to stop it, don't let your mouth look like a faucet. You get tied up in the closet, cause I don't play. Got that work, yeah. I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, If you need it, come and see me. I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, If you need it, come and see me, homie. Stop. Let me take it straight up to the top. Middle of the winter, but I keep the block hot like, Make them brand new Mac 11s pop. Toe to toe, they will get dropped if I get word they set up shop. They better stop that. Kenny Willy Wonka with the top hat. Heard the competition talking, they don't really want that. Pay me, charging to the game, no plays. Free, grind hard in the streets, go crazy. Need it, come and get it like, hey. Never slow, Molly on the tip and I just let it go. Never riding dirty, but I got the shit that'll turn the summer snow. I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, If you need it, come and see me. I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, yeah. Yeah, I got that work, If you need it, come and see me, homie. Come and see me if you need it, homie. Come and see me if you need it, homie. Come and see me if you need it, homie. Come and see me if you need it. Come and see me if you need it, homie. Come and see me if you need it, homie. Come and see me if you need it, homie. Come and see me if you need it,
God damn, son.
Damn, bro. You know, I gotta say, everybody hear me okay? I just got back. I turned the mic off on accident, not thinking nobody else is gonna be able to hear it, and then I turned it back on. But tell me, that was fucking dope. We already talked about where the song came from. But what was the idea behind Jake Frickle and coming in and just beating the, well, I mean, one, that shot of him hitting somebody with an axe handle was fucking sick. But what was that all about? It's like, Jake, I need you to come in here real quick and act like is it the mafia, the FBI? Who is it? Who's coming in? What's he doing?
Yeah, so he's basically the feds. That's why he's taking pictures.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I know mafia does that too. They're fucking.
Yeah, no. I called him. I said, "You want to be part?" I said, "It'll look cool if we have shots of him taking pictures." And he goes, "Yeah." And I got this really cool fedora I wanted to wear too. So like that was one of his things. He wanted to wear his little fedora. But yeah, that was so he was the FBI agent that was assigned to watch.
That's a fantastic song. I didn't realize how much I like to bump to that until I just played it just now, man. But I could feel it in my testicles because my sub's right below my feet right now. But it was like that song, man. Like that's nice, bro. You did a great job on that one.
Thanks.
You should be proud of that one for sure. Well, all of them really, but that one's hands down dope as fuck. So here's a question I got for every band or artist that comes on this show. Are you ready for this? It's a tough one, but I have to. This is a universal question I ask every single person that comes on this show. If you got stuck in life having to listen to one song for the rest of your life. Your CD player doesn't fucking work, and for some reason you can't get out of the fucking car, and you just got to drive around the world for every day for the rest of your life. And you got one song stuck on the CD player. What are you going to fucking listen to? What's the one song? I can make it easy on you. I can say band, but I usually like to go to a song. I like
He
to be
likes
difficult.
to take it to a whole new level and be difficult.
If you want to do an artist, that's fine too. I give everybody that option, but everybody's kind of got that one song that's got them through everything. You know what I mean?
That's a horrible question, and fuck you for it. How about that?
I'll keep that because everybody's response.
Cheers.
That's everybody's response.
One song that I would have to listen to. This is a question I've asked myself. Like, no joke, in real life. Like, is there one song I could just listen to for the rest of my life?
Man, it's tough.
And
if you want to go to artist, you can do that. We can browse.
Okay,
out.
I would have to go with Purple Rain by Prince.
Hey, buddy. All right, that's awesome. That's a fantastic answer. He's one of my favorites of all times. We actually, the two bands we did before this show, were both from Minneapolis, and that was a big part of our conversation there. Because that was his hood. And
I with Prince is that as famous as he was, I feel like he was very, very underrated still, highly underrated.
Agreed.
I think this always pisses a lot of people off when I say it, and I from time to time, you might see it on my Facebook, but I will always post Prince is greater than Michael Jackson. To me, as far as an artist goes,
I agree.
he has written music, and what a lot of rappers don't understand is when you say writing music, that's not writing lyrics to a beat. Like, to actually write your music for your your guitar, your piano, your everything. Like, writing music, he did all, and I'm sure he got help along the way too, but he's also wrote for other artists, Sinead O'Connor, things like that.
That dude there, bro, he's one of the top 10 guitar players of all times, according to Rolling Stone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah. And as far as, Michael Jackson, like, I can't take nothing away from him. But, the thing is like, if you do your research on that, you could see it. I think it's every hit song he's ever had, he didn't write, And that's the thing is, you can't take nothing away from him. He has Thriller and all that type of stuff, but why is it so easy for us in the rap game to talk shit about somebody who doesn't write their own lyrics, but when it comes to a different genre, that's perfully fine.
Yeah, but it's really common. Really common.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very common.
Really
I mean,
is.
and I'm not saying that it's okay for another, for as an artist. I mean, yeah, because we take a lot of pride in our stuff. But the thing is so many people are so hypocritical of every situation that it's like, for me, and on that aspect is saying, like, people get mad at Drake for having somebody write his music.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Dre is, he's a producer, but he's sold albums as an artist, and he doesn't write his own lyrics, but nobody goes, and I love Dre, but the thing is nobody goes into that and talks shit about, oh, Dre's this or that for not writing his own music. I think that the rules should apply to everybody in every genre if that's the case, but
and it should. You're right. 100%. Right.
And it's the same thing as, it's the same thing as, a lot of times when I've gotten into, back in my glory days of whatever, but getting into fist fights with people, the thing is you have so many people telling me I'm childish for fighting this dude, or childish for this, or, I should be doing this. That's dumb. Same people that are telling me all that shit are the same ones that are going and buying the fucking UFC fights and the boxing fights and all that type. You're paying to watch two people want to demolish each other. But for me, I'm childish and I'm dumb, but this is all I've known my whole life. This is how we solve shit back in the day. You see somebody you don't like, they don't like you, you fight them. And then afterwards you stand up, shake hands, everything's cool. Or maybe you fight them every time you fucking see them. Yeah. But I feel like, as far as that goes with everything in the world, everybody says they know everything and they know what they want, but nobody really knows. I mean,
that
as artists,
there's a difference between a guy sitting down and penning something out and the guy delivering it. The guy that's penning it may not have the ability to deliver what he's penning. So this is a world that we live in where the guy that's on the microphone, that's what he does best, and the guy with the pen, that's what he does best. So that's a perfect world to live in if you have to live in it. Fess and I do it all the time. If I can't think of something, Fess will write it, and if Fess can't think of something, I'll write it. And you know, if we got to finish a sentence, it happens all the time. You're gonna you can't do it all and be mentally okay. And that's
Yeah.
you know you know you're gonna, if you don't have the ability to reach out to somebody and say, I'm having trouble here, no matter what it is in life, then you're taking on too much. You're gonna suffocate. You know, so and I believe that when it comes to music, especially, and you're absolutely right. I don't know why people say, oh, he didn't write that whole verse himself. Well, who fucking cares? Did you hear the way he fucking delivered the shit out of that thing? Because
Yeah.
that's what it's about, man. You know, to me anyway. I don't know. Like the real problem is the labels they own the world. Okay, they potty train us to the radio, and that's what you get. So the average, let's call it 6th grader through 25-year-old, they don't even really have a sense of exploration. Like they're not, you know, they're going to listen to whatever's put on the top 40, and that's their culture. When really you've got cats like you or us or Tom McDonald and all sorts of cats out there that are really, really good, but they're never going to get the light of day because they're independent. Independence is a huge word these days, and there's got to be a way for that to happen a little bit better. What do you think, Fess? It's fucking trash, right? I mean, not
It's
all of it.
fucking trash, dude. There's no lyrical content. The same beat over and over again. It's all cookie cutter. It's somebody sitting behind basically a beat machine and adding in like one sound, two sounds here. Nobody's thinking about guitars. Nobody's thinking about bongos. Nobody's thinking about any kind of extra percussion or anything. All they're thinking about is writing about the next song with Hennessy and Xanax on the inside of it. It's all fucking garbage. Nobody's putting out a solid product, in my opinion, as far as that goes. But, as you said, so long as it keeps moving forward, it's still getting out there. At least it is a little bit of a gateway to start leading to people like us. And it's just a damn shame that the top of the billboard doesn't see it the same way, that a product should be top to bottom, lyrically sound, musically sound, all the way around.
Well, and we've talked about that a little bit, you know, Jesse. Now, when you and I and Fess were all starting this game, it was trunk sales. We were actually making money if we wanted to. You know, we had a product in our hand, and somewhere along the line, they said, no, we're going to streaming, and now you get 0.005 cents per stream, which does nothing for the artist, which means you ultimately have to go and tour to do anything with your life. You know what I mean? So that's a real tough pill to swallow when you started 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Or in some of the even older cases, you know, Aerosmith, they've been there for a long ass time. But eventually the listener said, no, we demand this shit for free, essentially. We'll pay $14.99 a month or whatever. But that does nothing for you. It does nothing for Fest. It does nothing for me or our friends who are in this business. And, you know, so it's just getting tougher and tougher to be motivated to be a musician, which is why I think so many people are like, and nothing against this particular artist, but you know, that song WAP pissed me off. I'm still yet to hear it. All I've heard is about it. And I know I have 2 7-year-old daughters that I don't want anything to do with it. And I'm just hoping for a change here soon, because what's happened is along the line we've stopped making people think when they listen to music. It's cut down to the most layman version of what it can be, and you know, we went from like post-Vietnam songs where everything was like very poetic, and you're trying to just keep up with this story, and then it gets into the 70s, still very good songwriting, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then all of a sudden I feel like Laffy Taffy just started fucking it up for everybody, right? You can just, you know, and I'm not saying that's the song that destroyed America. What I'm saying is that was like, if that's the bar, if Laffy Taffy is the bar, then I know a ton of cats that can fucking get past that son of a bitch. But that's where our industry started going. It's like, you know, we need to dumb this down because people aren't really into it. And what's your take on that, man? What do you think?
I think what you're saying as far as that too, you know, the album sales and things like that, you know, it went from that to dropping down to singles to the ringtone era, you know, and now we got to where we're at now. Regardless of how anything ever goes, like if when I release an album, I'm still gonna have hard copies. I'm gonna have thousands of them, just because that's something that nobody else is really even doing anymore. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's I think the part that pisses me off the most about it, and I think this is what I haven't heard a lot of people say, is um, the part that I think we get mad about and we don't realize it, is that people are being told this is hip hop. It's not. It's pop. That's what it is. Realistically, it's pop. That's what it is, and it's getting pushed off to everybody, the public, as this is rap. This is hip hop, and it's not. You know. So as far as us, when we know what hip hop is, you know, Wu Tang, Big Pun, you know.
Well,
all
and
the
even
cats
Little
from back.
Boosie's still trying. You know, Little
Yeah,
Boosie's
I
still
mean,
fucking banging some shit out.
so what they did is they took hip hop, turned it into, you know, and then you had gangster rap, which was, there's two different, you know, those are two different things. You know, you got, you know, poetical rap, you know, Pac did stuff like that, you know. But the thing is now they're just pushing off everything as rap or hip hop, you know, and it's not hip hop, or saying it's rap. Like, I think if they called it what it is, and it's, you know, because you're saying, oh, Drake, this rapper, is number one on the pop charts. It's because it's a fucking pop song.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
Um,
they got to take the H out of hop and put a P in there. It's hip hop, which is
yeah,
all right.
exactly.
I'm not going to take nothing from them for that.
No, and that's what I'm saying is, you know, if that's, I think that's where it kind of, you know, strikes a nerve with me in that aspect of saying it's hip hop. I wish that we would have had the beats we have now and had them back then, and seen what those artists could have done with the beats we have now. That would have been epic. That would have been some. That would have been some shit to see.
Yeah, that
To
is.
let Big Pun jump on some shit, or Pac, or fucking
Yeah.
Biggie, any of these guys jump on this shit nowadays, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, all the different things available to us as producers is just, I mean, it's mind blowing. But it also gives you,
it's tenfold.
you got to give
anything
them
it ever
credit
used
for
to
what
be.
they were doing back then. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you know, that's crazy that they were doing. In my opinion, the best stuff that ever came out was in the late '80s and '90s in hip hop, and they were doing stuff with very minimal. Well, compared to what we have the options with now when we click into our stuff, you know, the VSTs and all that, they were not even close to that. They were really generating. So I would you know, to me, I'd love to hear today's artists on that shit, because it would really make it would make them have to really come raw. You know, they don't have all this luxury of this and this and this to make them sound great. No, you actually need to come in here and do some real shit. What else you got, Fast? We got a couple, another song for sure. But
Really, you kind of answered most everything else that I had. I mean, all the way down to pretty much my last question. I mean, and even at that, you kind of answered that. Anything in specific that you would probably tell the up-and-comers in the game in this day and age? I mean, you've kind of already touched on it, especially, so.
Thing I would tell the up and comers and the other artists that are coming up right now: stay the fuck out of my way.
See, that's why you never changed. You've never changed.
Man.
I think it's I think it's mainly just stay humble. You know, stay humble through it all. Stick to what you know. Keep it real. Make the choice of when you come into doing music, if you want to be in it for the longevity, or if you want to be just a TikTok of hip hop. You know what I mean? If you just want to be a 15-second clip and you're gone. You know what I'm saying? Figure out what you want to do. And instead of just showing your music to people who are going to tell you it's good, show it to people who are going to tell you it's not good. Not because you ain't good, but because you might need work. And that's the thing. A lot of people take that wrong when you say, you know, this doesn't sound good. They get mad and they fucking hate you. Well, the thing is if I was to show you a beat or a song, Maddie, that I did, and you're like, it sounds good, but this, and this, I'd be like, you know what? I think you're right. Let me go back and re-listen, because you got to take that constructive criticism from people. You need to take yourself out of your comfort zone, because in order to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. That's why they call them growing pains. You have to be uncomfortable. You need to take yourself away from that, and you need to be real to who you are. And the one thing I can say from experience is, don't try to be what everybody else wants you to be, because you'll lose yourself in doing that.
Yeah,
Do you, do it right, keep it real, and stay doing and do what you love to do. And if people don't like it, fuck them, because there's somebody out there that's gonna like it.
Yeah, that's great answer, Jesse. Because I feel like that's advice I should have given myself years and years and years ago. You know, our egos got in the
Yeah,
way of a lot of listening, and I it's always hard to hear that it's not as perfect as you think it is. You know, it's as a
Mhm.
producer, as an artist, I remember the first person I ever took musical advice from was the guy that's right here with us right now, Fess, because I knew, you've got Van Gogh. I feel like he's probably your musical soulmate that you've done work with, and that my musical soulmate is Fess. And when he came into my studio and said, "Well, let's try this. Let's bring this up and bring this down and things like this." It was the first time I had heard anybody give me any kind of advice, so it was new. And my ego is, I love doing this to my ego a lot. I fucking stroke it,
yeah,
and it was, but it was strangely not an insult to me. So I was expecting to be pissed or something like that, and then we tried it, and I'm like, well, fucking A, I like this fucking dude, and I think
Oh
I think
shit.
it's the best advice that I've ever heard is do not pretend that you are the only thing to your music, because there's a lot of people that can help improve you along your way. That's a great answer. Fucking A, man.
See, and this is why we're doing these interviews. God damn, man. Like I said,
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to meet you in person yet, and it's great to finally put a face to the voice that I've been listening to for so long. And I really think we all need to get together and touch a track again in the future.
I'm always here. Hey, for you, I'm always here, brother. Like, send me whatever, and I'm down to jump on it. So that's why I can work with with you. And then I can turn around and go work with. I mean, I got a song with Twisted Insane. I haven't put that out yet, but I mean, I can go from that to you, and then I can work. I mean, you've heard I do songs with girls that sing R&B.
Oh
I can
yeah.
do R&B type of music. I can do it.
Hmm.
I try to do it all, and that's just part of being an artist. I mean, it's the same thing as being a tattoo artist or somebody that draws something. I mean, you might,
Exactly.
you know, do your best at drawing cars, but if somebody's going to pay you to draw this and they're going to pay you $1,000, are you going to draw it? Or are you going to be like, no, I only draw cars?
Yeah.
No, you're going to try to do it.
Being
So
adaptive, that's what's fun about being an artist, man.
Hmm.
You don't have to limit yourself at any time. You can go get on anybody's track and have a great time. And that's what people forget. It's like, this isn't about me. This is about music. This
Yeah.
is, I get to go and
Amen.
do this. This is a pleasure. It's fun. And if I don't get it, then I ask somebody and they say, no, you better redo it, and I'll do it. It's you might not get it the first time. That's the beauty of music. I love the fact that,
yeah,
Jesse, I will get you a track here soon. We'll get one coming. You tell me, what's Hands Up? This is deeply personal, huh?
yeah. So um, well, yeah, it was my cousin was killed by he was shot and killed by a police officer here in Billings. Um, so it took me a long time to actually do the song because it was something that I would rather not have done, obviously, something that I would have rather not had to have done. And so it took me a while to actually make the choice to do it. So I did talk to, some family and stuff and, made sure it was okay to do because obviously that's not just a choice. That's my own choice. That's something that, I wanted them all involved in to make sure it was okay. So and I didn't want to go about the song in the way as far as like fuck the police. Like I didn't want to do that. Like that wasn't the point of the song. So when I do, my cousin, his brother, who's in the music video as well, um, he played the part of his brother, my cousin, the one that got killed,
Oh wow.
and I wanted him to make it. You'll see him basically looks like shooting up dope in the drug house, things like that, because I wanted to do it as real as possible. I didn't want to be like my cousin was the perfect model citizen, never did nothing wrong. I wanted it to be realistic. Like, yeah, my cousin, my family, me, you, everybody, we all have our mistakes. We all do things wrong. We're all fuck ups. But I also wanted to put it in the sense of like, yeah, the cops they have a little bit too much power, I feel, and I think everybody kind of feels that way. So I wanted it to be more or less. It's like I said, it was hard to do, and I did it. And we actually recorded a whole video. We recorded a whole music video for the song, and it wasn't good enough. So I still have all the video of that one, and everybody asked me about it because there was a lot of people. I mean, I rented out the park. I got permits to do this video, and it still wasn't what I wanted it to be. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I scrapped it. I still have everything. Yeah. So we wanted to just kind of do it the other way and everything like that. But so it came out the way it did, and it was like I said, it was a hard thing. I didn't want any money out of it. I didn't want any promotion out of it. I'll share the song from time to time, but I never once I never promoted the video as far as like paying to get it played, stuff like that. I just put it out there and let it get it all organic. It was more of
a lot of people, they didn't see it that way, and I remember getting fucking mad because there were so many people almost on the attack here. And for me, when I first watched the video, what I saw was a problem. Okay, so today's society, we do have a lot of folks that are addicted to drugs or doing things. It doesn't mean they deserve to be killed. That's how I saw the video. Okay, but I'm also an artist, and I also understand how music goes. People have the right to recover. People have the right to not have their neck stepped on as they're trying to get up. Okay, there is no such thing as a perfect citizen. If you really want to get down to it, just because you go to church on fucking Sunday doesn't make you a fucking saint. More than likely, between Monday and Saturday, you're being a piece of shit. I mean, whether you think so or not, it's probably the case. Like, the case is we all do things every day. But there's a real problem right now with over-aggressive police officers. Okay? Now, whether that's your cousin or the folks we've been seeing on TV lately, however you want to paint it, these guys in third grade had their thermos stolen too many times, decided they were going to be a fucking police officer so they could be some sort of warrior and have some sort of king status to where they can give you direction. And it's become a problem. It's almost, to me, a psychological problem. They're almost overdoing it.
Definitely.
So this one, whether you were my friend or not, really hit me hard. And I'm going to play this song, and we can talk a little bit more about it, because after this song, we're going to kind of jump into some of the buzz and shit around the world. It's not going to take a whole lot more of your time today, but we'll jump into that here in a second.
Why are you moving your hands around so much? Making me nervous, man. Who are you? Richard? All of you put your fucking hands up right now on top of the seats. Dispatch 374, I got Richard Ramirez here. Can everybody step it up? Hands up! Hands on the fucking... Get your fucking hands up, I'm gonna shoot you. I will shoot you. Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! I will shoot you again, hands up! Hands up! You fucking move, I'm gonna shoot you. Get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground! Dispatch 374, shots fucking fired!
Whenever I turn on the evening news, I'm watching these badges get used and abused. These cops I taught how to fool and confuse. Provided a book, but they're making new rules. I'm breaking the rules cause I look like a crook. They prosecute me for the way that I look. Do I have to wear a suit and tie just to prove to you guys that I live by the book? I sag my pants everywhere that I go, and they think that I'm high cause I'm riding low. They see what they read from what I've been told. So kill or be killed, and that seems like the goal. Or seems like their goal. Officer, no. Another unarmed man just lost his soul. They're killing my kind and doing it slow. If they serve and protect, then where do we go? Hands on your head and they clicking the cuffs. If you're lucky enough to not get struck by hollow tips ripping them straight through your gut, cause we all deserve a chance to piss in the cup. I'm pissing used to look like the devil, having dreams of a cop grab his pistol and name. When the bullet passed by, heard it whisper my name. And went to some game out here roaming the range. And they keep turn beauty to pain, with no repercussions and no consequences, leaving the rest of us dead at defenses, while you still get paid and get a vacation and cleared of all charges with no hesitation. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up.
I'll shoot you again, hands up!
Put your hands up, put your hands up.
Just let's make some more shots, motherfucker!
Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up.
I'll shoot you again, hands up!
Put your hands up, put your hands up.
Just let's make some more shots, motherfucker!
These lots went in there. Dave, do you want to pull them out? Go ahead and pull them out. Check him for weapons and then whatever medical attention he needs.
Cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, from the beginning, that's all that was given. Raised on the south side, so no, we don't listen. Don't these people know that they're going to prison? That's the mentality of most of my peeps. Keep one eye open when we're sleep. When it comes to the law, we're just rolling the dice. So we're kissing our crosses and praying to Christ. He paid the price to cover our sins, but you wanna judge and leave us in the wind. What kind of justice is that, my friend? But you can continue to keep fucking the stand. Most have a job and take care of their family. Cause of my past is the reason you hassle me. Cops and criminals, same mentality. We're practically acting the same with a tragedy. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up.
I'll shoot you again, hands up!
Put your hands up, put your hands up.
Just let's make some more shots, motherfucker!
Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up.
I'll shoot you again, hands up!
Put your hands up, put your hands up.
Just let's make some more shots, motherfucker!
So what I'm saying is that we are not all wrong, but I'm also saying that we are not all right. But if you were to uphold the laws of justice and treat us all equally, then everything would probably be all right. Now I know I'm not perfect and I have felony charges. Shit, I'm a violent offender that robbed a casino. But in my case, they waited for backup, let justice be served, and now I get to see my seeds grow. Now I don't want you to refer to the song and think it was inspired by hate, cause that is not the case. But understand this, if you are from where I'm from, then sometimes it doesn't make a difference if you cooperate. So I'll end this with a rest in peace to anyone that has lost a loved one based on their name, race, or lack of quote-unquote cooperation. Rest in peace. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up.
I'll shoot you again, hands up!
Put your hands up, put your hands up.
Just let's make some more shots, motherfucker!
Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up.
I'll shoot you again, hands up!
Put your hands up, put your hands up.
Just let's make some more shots, motherfucker!
There's a couple of songs that stand out from you, but this is probably my favorite one. I could name others. It doesn't really matter because I think for me, this had to have been the most personal experience of your life as far as up to now, song-wise, that you really had to go in on. And I could be wrong, but when I hear a song, even with just the background beat, okay, that I fucking choke up, dude.
It's like a hard thing because it's like the song was obviously, meant for my cousin, my family, but it was also meant for, there's a message, you know what I mean? There's a message within the whole song. And so it was relating to him, but also in the sense of it was like relating to everything that's kind of going on. So, it's like it's almost like a miscommunication, misunderstanding of people because, where I grew up, I grew up here in Billings, but where I grew up on the south side, it was, as soon as you're able to understand anything, you're told right away, like, fuck the cops. Cops are bad. They're horrible people. Don't ever talk to them. Things like that. Which, okay, yeah, whatever. But they're told the same thing about us. That side of town's bad. Those people are bad.
Yeah.
Go patrol that neighborhood once every 20 minutes, 10 minutes, just to see what they're doing. So it's like you can't even have your kids outside. But the thing is for somebody like me, it became a normal thing to see cops driving around all the time. And then when I go to like a friend's house as I started getting older, and I go outside of the South Side, you don't see the cops driving there, and you're kind of like, what the fuck's going on over here? Like something don't seem right. Something's not right. Something feels off. So the thing is we are already born into that life, and the same thing with them. They are told this is the bad side of town, so it becomes like that. I've been pulled over with other people who didn't grow up where I did, and the experience is totally different.
Yeah.
When I'm in the passenger seat or the back seat, I didn't have them come up to my back seat and be like, who are you, what's your name? If I was driving around with somebody that was from the South Side, everybody got questioned. Who are you? What's your name? Where's your ID? Where do you live? What are you doing out here? Those are normal things for me. And, you come to realize through, obviously, in the sense of things working out the way life works out, I ended up, like I said, on probation after all I did. And my probation officer is probably one of the best dudes I've ever met in my life. He was probably the reason I don't feel that all law enforcement are bad people.
Rooting for your success. He was rooting for your success. Part of the solution.
Yeah, he definitely was. I could tell you right now, 100%. If it wasn't for him being my probation officer, I probably wouldn't have made it off probation. That dude actually took the time to listen and cared and loved his job. Really wanted to help people. So the thing is I made the song, and it was hard enough to make the song. And after it was done, like I said, I put it out there for the world to see and everybody to see. And I kind of just left it because it's something that I don't. It's like my selfishness for this song went out the window because it's something I don't want to see or hear about again or even think about again. But at the same time, there's a message that other people need to see and hear. So for the betterment of humanity in itself, and I'm just one small person that most people don't even know or don't give a fuck about or whatever. But at least I can feel like I'm doing my part in that aspect. So when I hear the song, my kids, they play it sometimes and they cry when they hear it, but it's just
I welled
it's
up,
a
bro.
reminder of,
Every time I well up, every time I hear it. And there's a part in the video that always gets me, and maybe it was they're on the porch, and the blonde-haired lady in the upper right, was she the mother, maybe, or somebody close? Because she
sister.
starts to cry.
Yeah, that's the sister.
You can tell there's a part in that video, and I've watched this video about 1,000 times, by the way, just in case anybody wants to fucking know. Because Jesse, I'm a fan, dude. So when I tell you I'm a fan, I'm not a fan because I tell you I'm a fan. I'm a fan because I go and I listen and I watch. But the lady starts to cry, and that gets me every time because you can tell there was an emotional connection between her and this your cousin, this man that died. So I want to just real quick the video. Who shot the video?
Michael Graff. He's from Missoula. He shot the video. So Mikey Graff, he's actually been doing a lot of people's videos and stuff. And yeah, he did a great job, man. I do a lot of the things controversy sells, and it does, and it works. That's where you get so much more recognition for the bad shit than you do for the good shit. And that's how we're learning this from our own government, from anywhere, because it's subconsciously we see it, so we know it works. So if I post up a status and say all glory to God on my Facebook, I'm gonna get like 10, 15 reactions. And if I say something about fuck Sarah Palin in the ass, I'm gonna get all kinds of crazy shit. Then that's the fucked up part. People don't, if it's good, they don't pay no mind to it. But
people have a general want for the evil. Let's call it evil, good versus evil. You're right, and I love that. that your analogy. That's I could probably do this for 6 or 7 hours with you, dude. Oh, we're lots. It's hard for me to want to wrap this interview up, Jesse, to be quite honest with you, man. I haven't talked with you in a long fucking time, and this has been a true honor. And like I said, it means the world to me that you did this and that you let me do it because, shit, man, I'm a fucking weirdo, and I do weird shit, and I say weird shit. So, I mean, it fucking...
Yeah, but you're real, though. You're real about who you are. You don't try to fake who you are, and that's a very very good trait for anybody to have. And I appreciate, like, you have no idea, I really appreciate you having me be a part of this, man. It's been awesome.
Hey, that was Jesse Perez. He's a Billings native. He's he's a good friend of mine that I grew up in the music business with, and an amazing artist, good dude. Magic City, you should check him out more. I think you guys need to support each other more, period, in the hip-hop category. But yeah, Jesse Perez, you check him out, OG100. Or you can probably find him under
He is
Sancho.
an OG.
He is an OG. It's like an award given to people that have been around a long time that do big things. So we're going to get to the news. Let's get down to brass fucking tacks here. A lot of weird shit going on. A lot of people losing their fucking minds out there.
No shit.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. People are making a big deal about Pepe Le Pew, cartoon character. And I'm going to say this because I actually ranted about this the other day. I got to say, this is the perfect plan in America right now is just to keep people arguing about the dumbest shit ever, right? Okay, so
right.
I will be honest with you. I don't think if they would have told people that anybody would have even fucking noticed, because I haven't personally watched... I haven't watched that cartoon since I was a young kid, and I got to be honest, I haven't looked for that cartoon since I was a young kid.
Right.
So
right.
The only reason why people get mad is because, hey, we have to tell them that we're taking this away, right? And then all of a sudden you got 40 and 50 something. If you are that mad about Pepe Le Pew, then you need to do more things. Like, were you watching it every day, and then you had to get you got mad? What are you doing to where you're upset? You know what I mean? Now, to that point, okay, and then you chime in, but to that point, if you are going to get rid of Pepe Le Pew, okay, because apparently he's a rapist or he's kissing women without their approval. But let's be clear here. That was a skunk, and he was chasing a cat. That's why the thing was so fucking awkward. The cat didn't want anything to do with the skunk. I can't believe I actually have to explain this to people. The cat would rather be with a cat.
Man.
Okay? So anyway, I guess long story short here.
So it was the cat who was
like
prejudiced.
Out. Yeah.
The cat
well,
was the
honestly, the
one
cat
of the
just... I think I'll just say the cat was not experimental. Right? Like, it just didn't want to... It didn't want to find out where it was going to go. So I'm just, people got upset because they were told it was being taken away. It's not because they watch it religiously. They're just being weird. But I have to say, if you're going to take that shit out, you have to wipe the whole board across the board. You can't be so selective. You got to take all these terrible songs off, like WAP. I saw that on the Grammys. Well, I saw a picture of it. I still have yet to hear the song. But you got to clear the whole board. You can't stop at things like Pepe Le Pew. There's much, much worse things out there going on right now on TV, radio, those things. Why are we just saying, oh, yeah, let's get rid of this, but not this. Let's get rid of this and not this. What do you think there, man? I mean, I've lost my fucking mind with all the shit they're taking away.
Oh, man, dude. I'm with you. I mean, because that's 90% of today. Nobody even really has a problem with anything until somebody just all of a sudden says, hey, we have a problem with this, and you need to have a problem with it. And all of a sudden, everybody's standing on the street corner holding a sign. And I'm still trying to figure out how a whole fucking generation that's been raised on Family Guy, South Park, things of that nature is offended by so much fucking bullshit. I mean, come on, guys. When are you going to reach down, grab your balls, and pull them out? I mean, for real, stop acting like a bunch of pussies. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. You've been raised on hearing 10 times worse. You've been raised on hearing things like Eminem saying how he's going to rape his mom, and you ain't bitching about him? You ain't bitching about any of that shit. You're offended by a fucking cartoon skunk. I think it's ridiculous, and I think
I hate to break
becoming a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, I hate to break it to the nation, but I think the guy that says giggity giggity is more of a predator than anybody I've ever seen in my fucking life. Right? What's his name? Quagmire? You know, I love that show.
Glenn Quagmire.
But, I mean, we're talking, people are so offended by Pepe Le Pew, and to me that's just so innocent compared to Quagmire trying to make out with a dead person in a casket. So I'm just kind of like, I don't get why this is bad and this is okay.
Dead.
You know what I mean?
Casket.
Like, where do they? You got to wipe the board. You can't just, I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna have to just straight up clear it all off and go back to watching Brady Bunch. That's all there is to it. You're gonna have to have like Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, all that needs to make a comeback. Because I mean, obviously, we need to have family values. Oops, I said the F word, didn't I? Family. Oh God, somebody's gonna come and tear my fucking head off. No, dude, you still got to have some sort of values in order to have this argument, right? I mean, you need to have something good and wholesome. You're going to watch these two bitches scissor on stage and say that's empowering women, but Pepe Le Pew was actually normalizing rape culture. You guys are fucking straight up just trying to find stuff to make everybody bitch. That's all you're doing. You're reaching for something to cause an argument.
They do that, and they don't realize how many other things they need to get rid of if they're on that particular warpath. That particular warpath screams for just about everything we just got done talking about. But the worst part of it is nobody in this, to my knowledge, maybe there's some diehards, nobody would give a shit if they just didn't tell us.
No,
if they just didn't say it out
mouth
loud.
Shut. I mean, that's really it. People don't seem to have a problem with anything until you try to cram it down their fucking throat. And tell them that you're going to cram it down their fucking throat instead of just, like, sprinkling it over the top of the dog food, I mean, that's really when everybody starts having a problem. Is it's like you're going to force this down my throat, like, with extreme prejudice. I've seen pornos that start that way. It's somebody's getting fucked.
God, I guess I haven't seen that porno, and I'm surprised. I've seen most.
Oh, so I'll forward you the link later.
Yeah, do that. I need some material. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that one out of the way first and foremost because I feel like this is just a big setup, and it's been going on for years. If people haven't noticed that by now, you're absolutely fucking retarded. And, this is designed by nature to keep us fighting and upset. Well, do you think we should tell America about Pepe Le Pew? We're talking about an iconic figure from the last 89
Well, we sure
years.
the fuck don't want them actually paying attention to us reading off the entire $1.9 trillion stimulus bill. We don't want them paying attention to that. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, tell them about Pepe Le Pew. Of course. They're going to bitch about that and Dr. Seuss more than anything.
Beautiful. That was another thing I was going to mention, the Dr. Seuss thing. Good fucking gravy. And then we'll go to the stimulus thing. I'm glad you brought that up. The Dr. Seuss thing, I was enraged. Because I have never met one person. Not one. I met a lot of prejudiced people. I didn't like them, got rid of them out of my life, told them to change. But not one of those prejudiced people ever went to the library, picked up Dr. Seuss to teach racism. Nobody. Nobody in the history of the world. They might pick up, Mein Kampf or, just some crazy fucking book, but... or hey,
they don't have a problem
with
Mein Kampf. They'll sell that on Amazon.
And, what's his?
The fucking sneeches, them fucking sneeches.
We can sell. They don't have a problem with Mein Kampf, but and there's no question that Dr. Seuss had his things, right? Like, he had his things. I mean, everybody did because they grew up in a different era. His general nature was to be fun with words and not, hey, man, maybe I can subconsciously write this and throughout time we can teach racism. He never one fucking time said that or even thought that. And nobody that is trying to teach racism, which if you do, you're a fucking prick, by the way, you don't go pick up Dr. Seuss. You don't pick up Dr. Seuss to teach these things.
Bullshit. God, I actually listened to this dude try and make an argument about how the Sneetches were racist and they caused harm because the Sneetches were seeking to fit in. And at the end of the book, the whole goal was a colorblind society. And apparently a colorblind society is racist because we're not acknowledging that we're different. So we went through how many fucking years to get rid of segregation to get to a point of where we're all just begging to be segregated from one another? I thought we were supposed to love one another and unify and be okay with diversity.
And I'm with you there.
We're not supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I refuse to take a knee to this stuff right now. It is a lot worse in the media than what it really is in real life. Yes, there are some big problems out there. I won't deny that there are still some assholes in the world. But if anything, what it's doing is it's reversing any progress that we ever made by just reporting that. There are a lot of beautiful stories. And if people just see people as people and not, hey, black and white, be proud, but don't, who cares? Who gives a fuck if you're black? And who gives a fuck if you're white and this, that, and the other? Just be proud to be alive. Be proud that you can shake another person's hand. Be proud that you would help anybody in need. I don't think anybody sees color when they feel somebody needs something. Well, I won't say anybody. Like I said, there's a certain percentage of this country that's still in the fucking shits because they're fucking assholes. But you know, those people need to be put in check. It's not the people that are really trying hard to maintain course, because it did take a long time. A lot of beautiful people died trying to go there. Right. Martin Luther King, you know, people have taught us that we were wrong. Yes, not me. I was never wrong. I maybe my ancestors were, and you know what? If I saw them, fuck them. But I personally not have one day in my life been that person. So I don't owe anybody shit. I don't owe you a fucking apology, and I don't owe you jack shit. And if you need something from me, you need $5. If you need a cheeseburger, I don't give a fuck what color you are. I'm not gonna let my fellow man go hungry. So they're just focused on all the wrong things right now.
But the shit on, I've seen this Facebook meme a few times, and it's kind of true. It's almost the exact same thing. I'm probably going to torture the fuck out of this saying it, but it's, if you put red ants and black ants in a jar, nothing will happen. But if you put a lid on that jar and you shake the living shit out of it, the red ants see the black ants as enemies, and the black ants see the red ants as enemies. But while they're busy tearing each other apart, the person that shook the jar is sitting there with a magnifying glass wondering which one of the little bastards he can burn to death first. Nobody's thinking about that aspect. They're all too busy throwing out all these points that are going to get all of us to hate each other, left and right. And everybody's so busy hating on one another that they can't even just like stop and look at the fact that everybody's being used from every which fucking direction. You got to learn to think for yourself, and you got to stop fucking paying attention to what's going on out there. It used to be trendy to flip a finger to the fucking system. Straight up, it used to be trendy. Now y'all want to be best friends with Joe fucking Biden. I don't get it. Some of y'all were just straight up sucking the dick at President Trump. Yeah, he did some great things, but he did some shitty things too. Biden ain't done a fucking great thing at all, in my opinion, this whole time. He hasn't done a fucking thing. He's just he's sat back and let everybody else do the dirty work.
Yeah, you can love whatever president you want. The fact of the matter is a true American holds every president accountable for what they do. So when they do something shitty, you can't say, oh, I still love my president. You have to hold that president accountable. Yep. Everybody that is in charge of this country is behind the eight ball, mainly because that's the hardest fucking job in the world. It's not like this is easy. Everybody has their own ideals. I mean, you know, President Trump did a lot of very bad things, in my opinion, just because he felt he was above any kind of system that's been put in place. I did not like that about him. Also, I didn't like it when he talked. So, you know, between those two things, but it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that he didn't sit down and do some good things. And I wish when a president left, okay? Because most of what Americans do is they focus on all the bad things that a president does. I wish when a president left that we were forced to see the great things that they accomplished, okay? Because then it says, okay, yeah, there was some negative things, but here are the things that actually twisted our culture into a different momentum for the good things. You know what I mean? I wish it was forced to be told to us that way, but instead, here we are. We're, it doesn't help that we have to pick between, two dipshits, but eventually we're going to.
Yeah, that problem never helps.
When you and I are fixing to retire, when we're getting to that age of we're going to be dependent on this generation that's complaining about Pepe Le Pew, I can't imagine what that's going to be like. That really hits me to my core, because these people are going to be running for president. I'm not saying that they don't have the right to be offended. If they are, that's okay. What I am saying is I don't think you should get your fucking way. I mean, I'm offended that they're offended, and taking all this stuff away, why do I not get to be heard? Why is it that they get to be heard? And what committee gets so fucked up that they sit down at a table eating Red Robin and said, yeah, that's got to go. Yeah, Pepe Le Pew. That's get the dartboard out with all the bad ideas. Go ahead, throw one, Clarence, and they throw a fucking dart, and it's like, oh, Pepe Le Pew, that's next. I don't know that I've ever met somebody that could be so offended about everything. People are pretty lax. Like, who is this fucking uptight? Who is that uptight? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's the problem with the whole world. The whole world is just walking around like they got a fucking stick shoved up their ass all of a sudden. I mean, everybody forgot how to have fun and just kick back and chill. I mean, why the fuck do you think we drink liquor while we do this fucking show? I mean, come on. The whole idea is to just, you know what? We go home from work, we drink, we bitch about work. We go to bed, we get up, we go right back to the same fucking salt mine.
You're right. I mean, we are fairly normal. I think most people get up, do things they don't love. They love the people that they're around because that's their choice, and that gives them hope in life when you have people you love. But for the most part, you go, you repeat, you go, you repeat, and you just kind of you keep it loose. You're happy when you see the people you care about. I don't know that I've ever gone so deep to find things that offend me to the point where I would give a shit to think that anybody would care. I don't know that I've ever done that. I'm offended by guys or girls that are complete assholes to other people because of their race. I do not like that. I don't think many people like that.
No, I agree.
But that's like the extent of it. I've never dug into cartoons that gave me fucking, emotions. I don't know that I ever looked at cartoons to give me any other emotion than, damn, that's funny. So, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what kind of people they are.
Sure as hell
I don't know what kind of
Bugs Bunny was attractive when he put on a dress and played a girl bunny. I can tell you that for a fact.
No, but that's a big hit right now. That's if you want to be a girl, be a girl.
Well, we got to desexify Lola Bunny.
But that's just it. It's like you and I, we know a bunch of transgender people. We know a bunch of gay people. But here's the thing about those people. They never made it about themselves. They fucking just did it because they didn't feel right inside. They went ahead and did their operations and did what they needed to do. But they're never like, hey, me, look at me. I deserve something for this. That's the problem with where that whole thing is right now. They're making it too much about themselves. Yes, you have the choice. Go do that. I wouldn't know if I shook a hand of somebody that turned the other way because I don't give a fuck. But as soon as you make it about you, that you've done this incredible thing that nobody else could ever understand, that is where society is right now. It's so fucking fragile. It's like I've got to be noted for this. I need some sort of trophy because I did this. No, you don't.
Yeah.
I understand why you did it, but you don't deserve shit from me. I don't need that, and you have the right to do that. You have the right to be whoever you want. If it fits, it fits, man. I don't know. Fuck it. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into your It's called the what is it? Rescue package.
American Rescue Plan.
Correct. How much was that again?
1.9 trillion go fuck yourself dollars. Is anybody else bothered by the fact that everything that we're trying to pass now is coming with trillions and we just went right past billions and millions? I mean, now everything is trillions. Does anybody else have a problem with that but me?
Go big, man.
I mean, for real.
Go big.
I guess what the fuck? By the time we're paying it back, I'll be dead anyway. Jesus Christ almighty.
Yeah, I guess for me it's not that I'm not thankful what they're trying to accomplish here, but what I don't understand is if it's a true rescue package, and I don't think I deserve the money. Quite frankly, I have a lot of friends with small businesses, things like that. But where does the rest of it go? Have we looked up where the rest of it is going? I'm just going to have it pulled up so I can kind of read. But it's like we get 10% of it, the people, we the people, correct? Okay, cool. I'm not going to say that this is a bad gig. You got both sides of the House agreeing that's what it's got to be. You got both sides of the Senate agreeing, and then the president, I don't know if it would have mattered. I think he would have hammered it through anyway, mainly because he learns how to spell his name every 30 minutes. But I do know that I feel like there's another 90%, and I think some of it goes to businesses. I think some of it goes to schools. But I really do want to know. If we can pull it up, I'd love to talk about where it went. Because I know the last time some of it went to Afghanistan for gender studies. And, I want to know where some of it's going this time. Because I feel like if it's a true rescue package, then we should only be thinking within our own borders at this time. It's all about it's all about COVID. It's all about COVID. So, everybody's like, oh, vaccines. And then there's people making fun of the people. They're like, oh, they're going to plant a fucking microchip in me, blah, blah, blah. And then there's people going, yeah, they really are going to plant a microchip. And then there's me going, isn't AstraZeneca a fucking couch? Like a company that makes fucking couches for IKEA? And then I have to go fucking, because I didn't know. I got back on the horn and I'm like, yeah, I better fucking research that. And turns out I was absolutely incorrect. But, I'm getting to that point now where I'm fucking so fucking pissed off at everything going on that I don't know. Do I want the shot? I don't really care. Do I not want the shot? Well, I really don't, but I guess if I have to in order to go to the YMCA to shower with other men in a locker room when I'm done playing basketball, fine, fucking whatever, dude. I mean, if that's what it's going to take, if
Not
I have
wearing
to
a
have
mask
it to
while
go
doing
to yeah. Oh my God, I don't even want to get into fucking masks right now. I've been very compliant. I have to wear one for my job.
Oh, come on, it'll be fun.
Masks. At this point, I am so fucking over it. So over it. There's more masks on the ground than are on people's faces. That's another thing that's pissing me off. It's like, okay, fine, wear a mask, but I'm walking over more masks than I see people walking by me. I guess I live in a pretty conservative state, so as soon as you don't have to wear a mask, people are fucking, I don't even know that they were wearing it when we were supposed to. I have to tell you this is great. Okay, so California, I don't know why they're always in our news reports, but California is getting ready to reopen its theme parks, which is great because I think if America needs anything right now, it's a little bit fun. But they have some new rules alongside of the masks. The other rules are there will be no screaming or joy. Those were the rules that I read about. So, yeah.
Seriously?
I think you should look this up.
Why even open the fucking theme park?
I invite everybody to look this up. You can't scream, meaning, if you're having a good time, please don't show it. So basically every 7-year-old is going to be instructed to do this. The whole time. If you're going to go down fucking...
Wow, you're not shitting either.
There's they're going to do this, which is fantastic. People are going to be able to start living again, but they cannot show it. Don't you fucking show it. If you go down, if you ride the Matterhorn, don't you have a single emotion of fun.
We're in a pandemic.
I guess that What the hell, man? I'm Matty Pariah. That's my boy Fess. We are Scotch Rocks. We are finding Scarlet, and I have no pants on. And I enjoy that. That's the end of the news for tonight. I appreciate everybody for listening.
I actually put pants on for tonight.
My penis is hitting my chair. So I just need everybody to know that we love you. Keep watching Scotch Rocks. We're just going to keep getting better. We're having a good damn time is what it is. It's like you guys are hanging out with us like we used to.